Good morning, students. After a long lapse of time, I'm meeting you through video. So, to complete the lesson, the remaining part in the circulatory system. So, in the circulatory system, you have to complete ECG, cardiac activity regulation, and also the various disorders related to the circulatory system. The first one I would like to take ECG. What is ECG? What are the ways of ECG? How can one find out the nature of that is the diseases related to the heart activity? Now normally the ECG records is normally the expansion for that one electrocardiogram. Anything which is being represented in the form of graphical method that is called gram we are using the word. So for example ECG, even EEG, electroencephalogram, that is for actually that is taking the electrical activity of the heart, the brain in what we have actually in a grid paper. So here we are taking the waves of what is called the heart, that is an ECG paper, what's the grid paper in the form of a graph. That's why it's called as gram. So the ECG or electrocardiogram records the electrical activity of the heart and not the contraction of the heart. It records the electrical activity of the heart over a period of time. How? Placing the electrodes on the surface of the body, that is on the skin, particularly the arms, the legs, the chest region. Over 12 leads of leads, they are connected to the what is called the cardiogram to just record the electrical activity in a particular time. According to the duration of the heart, just one cardiac cycle is about zero point 0.8 seconds. So, according to the electrical activity, we have is there any deviation in the function of the heart or not? So, we are recording only the electrical activity of the heart and not what we have actually the contraction of the heart. The waves in the ECG doesn't show normally. The wave in ECG doesn't show. That is a contraction of the heart, but only what we have the electrical activity of the heart. That's why we see that one. An electrocardiogram records the electrical activity of heart over a period of time in a particular time. Using electrodes placed over the skin or on the surface of the skin in the arms and legs. So the legs, arms, and then what we have the skin, all these things are connected to the vantage point. That's what we have the heart region. This is the place, the chest. So the different leads are placed over the just actually the skin in different parts of the body and connected to the ECG. That's why I said it's an electrical activity of the heart is being recorded. Normally, it records the changes in electrical potential. So, electrical potential, the one which is responsible for the conduction of impulses, what we can say the action potential. So, what is action potential? The generation of electrical impulses by depolarization. That is called action potential, or we can say electrical potential. The generation of what is called action potential by depolarization. So two events are happening during what is called actually the electrical activity of the heart. One is depolarization, another one repolarization. I am telling what I mean by depolarization and repolarization. So it records the changes in electrical potential, there is action potential across the heart during one cardiac cycle. That's what we have. We are recording only the electrical activity during one cardiac cycle. See, during cardiac cycle we have systole, diastole, etc. Okay, ventricular systole, ventricular diastole, then atrial systole, atrial diastole, etc. So anyway, now there is a nodal tissue present on the inner wall of the right atrium, just in the upper side, and that is what is called actually SA node or sinoatrial node. You hear already origin conduction of heartbeat, and this is actually a special flap of muscle which initiates the heartbeat, and this is called what is known as sinoatrial node, located in the upper part of the right atrium. Located in the upper part of the right atrium. We already seen the origin and conduction of the heart. And the impulses which are normally released by this node is spreading what we have as a wave of contraction just in the heart. First through the atria. From the atria, the impulses are transmitted to the ventricles, causing the contraction of the heart. So, anyway, that is SA node. The heart of heart, we can say, initiate the heartbeat and it spreads the impulses as a wave of contraction in the heart. That's responsible for the contraction and the relaxation of the heart. The waves of ECG I mentioned already are due to depolarization. That is because of electric activity and not due to the contraction of the heart muscle or the cardiac muscles. Okay, you remember that one, we are recording only the electrical activity and not the contraction and relaxation of the heart, but it is related to what's called actually the electrical activity. So the waves of ECG are due to depolarization and not due to contraction of the heart. Though depolarization occurs, we are saying we also have what's called repolarization, returning back to original condition. Actually, what will be depolarization? Repolarization soon. Now, this wave of depolarization occurs before the contraction of the heart. So, before the initiation of contraction, first depolarization occurs, followed by what is called the contraction of the heart muscle. So, this wave of depolarization occurs before the beginning of contraction of cardiac muscle. Now, according to just actually, there is people, the doctors, they have developed. So ECG normally consists of 5 waves. These 5 waves are normally designated as PQRST. PQRST. Now, but as per the book, it is given there are 3 waves. The Q or S together constitute what's called QRS complex. So anyway, we have 3 waves in ECG, but totally 5 waves. So normally the PRT, these waves are positive waves, and Q and S are negative waves. I'll tell you what's the meaning for that one. Those waves which are upward above the baseline, they are called as what is known as positive waves, PRT. P wave, R wave, and T waves are positive waves. And QS, they are actually downward waves below the baseline, hence called as a negative wave. So these 5 waves are just actually compressed together to form 3 just waves. One is the P wave, another one what is called the QRS complex, and the third one T wave. Now normally the depolarization occurs during PQRS. Depolarization occurs. The only way which shows what's called repolarization is the T wave. The T wave only shows repolarization. All the remaining 4 waves show what is called depolarization process. What do you mean by depolarization and repolarization? I'll tell you now. What do you mean by polarized membrane, depolarized membrane, and repolarized membrane? If you take any cell, particularly for example in the case of axon of nerve cell or in the case of cardiac muscle cells, the membrane shows what is called the charges. In a normal membrane, before the stimulus is given, it is having outer positive charges and inner negative charges. So inside we have the cytoplasm, outside what we have ECM. Okay, so this is called a polarized membrane. Without any stimulation, the membrane shows what is called outer positive, inner negative charge. The charges are due to sodium ions, potassium ions, some organic proteins. And inside we have more potassium ions along with more organic proteins which are negatively charged. That's why we have net negative charge. Outside we have more sodium ions inside. So this is what's happening. Here we have organic proteins are present along with potassium ions. Though potassium ions are present, the organic proteins with the negative charge exceeds the potassium ions. That's why you have in the negative charge. This is a normal membrane before stimulus. Once stimulus is given, reverse in the charge occurs. This is because of the movement of sodium and potassium exchange. We'll discuss later, it's not necessary now. So because of the sodium potassium exchange, now outer side has a negative charge, inner side has positive charge. This is the reversal of what we have this one. See that one? The charges have been changed. Such a membrane is called depolarized membrane and the process called depolarization. So reversal of charges, we have outer negative, inner positive. This is what's called a depolarized condition. Once again, after stimulus is passing across that region, it regains its original what is called condition. That is called repolarization, similar to the polarized membrane, returning back to its original condition. Again, once just we see that one outer positive, inner negative. This is a normal condition. Returning back to the normal condition is called repolarization. And what we have, reversal of charges, is called depolarization. That generates electrical impulses. So the generation of electrical impulses by depolarization is called electrical potential, or we can say action potential. So because of the changes in electrical potential, that is we have, that is in one cortex cycle across the heart. Then we have, that is what we have the different waves. So this is what is called actually the action potential generation because of depolarization. That electrical potential is responsible for the generation of what is called actually the contraction of the heart muscles. That's why we have the depolarization occurs in the beginning and followed by the contraction of the heart. So we are recording only these electrical activities, repolarization that occur in what we have in the membrane of the cardiac muscles and not in what we have related to the contraction of the heart. So this is with reference to what is polarization, what is depolarization, repolarization. That is what we have the charges, electrical potential charges. So once depolarization occurs, we have the generation of electrical impulses. So the generation of electrical impulses by depolarization is called what is known as actually there is action potential. Okay, we'll discuss further more. Now let us see what is P wave. Now this is the first wave I mentioned already out of the 5 waves. You can see in the picture, a simple picture. I will draw a better one later. PRT. These are all the upward waves above the baseline, hence called positive waves. Q and S, they are downward waves, small downward waves, hence called the negative waves. PRT positive, Q and S negative, downward. This is upward. Now what is actually upward wave? That's a P wave indicates. And before that, let's see something about the what is called the invention of electrocardiogram. So the what is called the recording of the heart was first started by Augustus Waller in 1887. He used what's called capillary electrometer, but later in 1901, it was Willem Eindhoven, a Dutch scientist, a doctor, developed what is called string galvanometer, and that is the most accepted one. What we're using at present is nothing but ECG using string galvanometer. Okay, so he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1924, Willem Eindhoven, and is called father of electrocardiography. Father of electrocardiography. This is something about what we have the invention related to what's called ECG. Now what is P wave? I mentioned already it is a small upward wave. You see that one, this is upward wave. Here this is a P wave. This is the one what I'm indicating, the P wave. That's what's called as a positive wave. What does it indicate? What is the electrical activity of the heart? This one indicates. Now, it indicates atrial depolarization. So, when atria undergo depolarization, that was shown by this P wave. So, it is atrial depolarization wave. And actually, what is happening during that one, I mentioned already. Before the contraction, first we have the depolarization followed by contraction. So now this is a time taken for the excitation that is normally started from the SA node to spread through the atria. So now SA node initiates the electrical impulses, and these electrical impulses are spreading through what we have actually the atria from the SA node. Now the contraction of both atria during that period, the time taken for this P wave, what happens? You have first a depolarization of atria followed by contraction of atria. The time taken for the contraction of both atria lasts about 0.8 to what is called 0.1 second. 0.1 second. So I'm indicating this one. So at about the summit of P wave only, we have what's called the contraction begins. Now this is a P wave. I'm indicating with a different color, showing the P wave, the starting point. Okay, the P wave. Now this P wave is followed by what is called PR interval. There is actually what we can see. This is what's called PR interval between P and R. And this is what's called ventricular delay. The impulses when passing from what is called SA node spreading to the atria and then reaching what is called AV node, atrioventricular node, there is a delay in the what is called the conduction of impulses, and that is being indicated by what we have PR interval. So the PR interval indicates a delay in the AV node about the impulses, then only it is passing down. Okay, that's about what we have PR interval. We'll talk about PR interval in the next video. Now the next one, TQ interval. So after the completion of what is called atrial depolarization, there is a delay of the conduction of impulses in the AV node. The AV node normally just having the impulses for a short while. There is a delay in the AV node in the conduction of impulses. For a short period of time, within a fraction of time, the impulses are being actually delayed in the AV node. And that indicates what's called peak interval, AV node delay, after the completion of what is called atrial depolarization occurs. So you know that one just actually P that is between P and Q. I mentioned about in the form of what's called red line. Now it is the onset of P wave to the onset of what is called QRS complex. Onset of PB to the onset of QRS complex. That is what is called peak interval. And normally this is the start of depolarization. That is what is called of atria. Start of depolarization of atria to the beginning of ventricular depolarization. So what is happening? Start of what is called depolarization of atria to the beginning of ventricular depolarization. That is the time between these two. Start of what is called depolarization of atria and the beginning of ventricular depolarization. So it is a time taken for the impulses to be conducted from the atria to the ventricles. That indicates a time taken for the conduction of impulses from the atria to the ventricles. It's about 0.12 to 0.21 seconds. So the time duration for the conduction of impulses, that is from the atria to the ventricle, is normally 0.12 to 0.21. So anyway, normally there is a delay in the conduction of impulses, and the delay is called peak interval. That's why it's called as AV node delay. After the completion of what is called atrial depolarization, we have a delay of impulses conduction in the AV node for a fraction of time. Now that's why it is a measure of atrioventricular conduction time, AV conduction time. Measure of atrioventricular conduction. What is the time taken for the conduction of impulses from what is called the atria to the ventricle, and that is being normally represented by this one, what is called P2 interval. Now we have to go for the next one, what's called QRS complex. Normally there is no separate wave for atrial repolarization. So we have atrial depolarization during what we have the P wave, but there is no indication, there is no vision of what is called atrial repolarization shown in the what is called ECG wave. It's not represented. So atrial repolarization is not represented in the ECG wave. That's one of the 1 mark questions. So which wave or which is not actually represented in the ECG wave? That is what is called atrial repolarization. Because the atrial repolarization occurs along with ventricular what is called atrial depolarization occurs along with ventricular depolarization. Both occur simultaneously. That is why the atrial depolarization is not indicated what we have in the ECG. Now QRS complex, the next one, followed by what is called P wave, Q wave, TQ interval. Now we have to enter what is called QRS complex. So that is normally in the case of there is ECG, there is no separate that is actually wave visible for atrial repolarization. The reason for that one, both depolarization of ventricles and the repolarization of atria occurs simultaneously. Remember that one? So no separate wave for atrial, that is repolarization occurs, not depolarization. What we have actually atrial depolarization occurs. There is no separate atrial depolarization. That's why normally we have first one atrial depolarization. There is no separate wave for atrial what is called repolarization. The book is given depolarization, but what we have repolarization. So no separate wave for atrial repolarization. Once the depolarization is completed and followed by what we have repolarization occurs, that is a must. But here no separate wave for atrial repolarization in the ECG is visible. So the reason for that one, atrial repolarization occurs simultaneously with the ventricular depolarization. Atrial repolarization occurs simultaneously with the ventricular depolarization. In the book it is given the statement wrongly. So no separate wave for atrial repolarization, because already the atrial depolarization completed and followed by it you have what is called atrial repolarization, but it is not visible in the ECG. The reason for that one, atrial repolarization occurs along with what is called ventricular depolarization. That's why there is no separate wave is given for atrial repolarization. Now the normal QRS complex duration, it lasts for 0.06 seconds to 0.09 seconds. This is the normal duration of QRS complex. If you are comparing what is called the QRS complex, the QRS complex is normally shorter than PV. What's the reason for that one? So once depolarization occurs, that is in the atria, the depolarization, the impulses spread only through the Purkinje fibers of the bundle of His. Only through the Purkinje fibers of bundle of His. That means the impulses spreading in the atria are not spreading through the atrial muscles, through the atria to the ventricles directly. There is no conduction of impulses directly from the atria to the ventricles. Because of the opening of atrioventricular aperture, there is a pad of tissue, a fibrous connective tissue, what is called annular pad. That pad is called annular pad. That annular pad normally prevents the spreading of impulses from the atria to the ventricles through the muscles. That's the reason why we have this, what we have, this QRS complex is normally shorter than PV, though here represented just longer. See that one? The QRS complex is shorter than PV. The reason for that one, depolarization spreads through the Purkinje fibers and not through the muscles of the ventricle. So there is a block between the atria and ventricles, preventing the spreading of impulses through the cardiac muscles. The impulses are being carried away only by the Purkinje fibers from the atrioventricular node and not directly from the atrial muscles to the ventricles. This is because of the presence of annular pad, which separates the atria from the ventricles. No impulses crossing across this pad. No spreading of impulses from the atria to the ventricles directly. It is being conducted only to the what is called actually the transport or conduction system, namely the Purkinje fibers of the bundle of His. That's why you see that one QRS complex is shorter than PV. The reason depolarization of spreads through only the Purkinje fibers and not through the cardiac muscles from atria to the ventricles. Then, suppose you have a prolonged QRS wave. So it indicates a delayed conduction of impulses. That is one of the indications of what we have some abnormalities in the heart. If the QRS complex or wave actually prolonged, long duration, if it is more than what we have 0.09 second, so indicates delayed conduction through the ventricle. So when there is a prolonged QRS complex, that indicates there is a delayed conduction of impulses normally to the ventricle. What is the reason for that one? This is because of ventricular hypertrophy, overactivity, ventricular hypertrophy, or block in the branches of bundle of His. The branches of the bundle of His responsible for the conduction of impulses. If there is a block in the conduction of impulses, just like a block in the road, then we have there is a prolonged QRS complex. Okay, maybe ask what is the reason for prolonged QRS complex? One, ventricular hypertrophy. Another one, block in the branches of bundle of His. Okay, that's about the QRS complex. I mentioned about the red. So here now the impulses from PV, then reaching the QV, and then we have just a PQ interval, delayed in what is called AV node conduction. Now the QRS complex representing what is called ventricular depolarization. P wave indicates atrial, what is called depolarization, and followed by repolarization occurs, but it is not visible because repolarization of the P wave occurs along with ventricular depolarization. That's why actually in the book it is given depolarization. It's not depolarization, it is repolarization only. Okay, you have to make a correction in the book. One letter you have to change. Now the next stage is the ST segment. So normally this ST segment lies between what we have S QRS complex and then TV, QRS complex and then TV. End up there, S and then just actually the beginning of the T. So that is called the ST segment. We have PQ interval, this is ST segment. Now, what is happening during that period? It is in the form of a plateau. Plateau means horizontal line. It is in the form of a plateau. What is the reason for that plateau also? Now, it is a time during which all the regions of the ventricles are completely depolarized. Complete depolarization of all the ventricles. And also, we have, it reflects the long plateau phase before what is called repolarization of the ventricles. So, plateau phase. The plateau means nothing but what we call the horizontal region. So, what is actually that is ST segment. It is a time during which complete actually depolarization of all the regions of the ventricle takes place, and also it reflects what is called a plateau, a long plateau before what is called repolarization, because T wave is concerned with repolarization. So between QRS complex and T, we have this ST segment having a long plateau. Now, what's the reason for that actually this prolonged plateau? See, in the heart muscle, the prolonged depolarization occurs that results in plateau. So we have prolonged depolarization that results in what is called plateau before what is called repolarization. This is because of what is called retardation in potassium reflux. Potassium ions reflux. So what we can say, I made a mistake, efflux. Efflux means the movement of potassium ions that is away from the cell. So you see that one in the heart muscle, the prolonged what is called depolarization forming what is called the plateau is due to retardation of what is called potassium ion reflux. Potassium ions efflux. Potassium ion efflux. There is a movement of potassium ions away from the cytoplasm, away from the cell, across the membrane. So it is being reduced. The movement of what is called potassium ions away from the cell is reduced. That is the reason why we have the plateau formation, why we have a prolonged depolarization. So prolonged depolarization is due to retardation of what is called potassium efflux. That is nothing but the movement of ions away from the cell. That is being reduced. Retarded means suppressed or reduced or inhibited, we can say. That's why we have a prolonged what's called depolarization. Here in the ST segment represent prolonged what is called depolarization before the repolarization occurs. Reason that results in plateau formation. Reason for that one, retardation, that is what's called the suppression of movement of potassium ions away from the cells. Okay, so the duration of the ST segment is about 0.09 second. This is the duration. So remember that one, what is ST segment? There is nothing but prolonged depolarization before repolarization of what is called actually the ventricles. And the prolonged just actually depolarization is because of retardation in potassium ion efflux. That is nothing but the movement of potassium ions away from the cell is retarded or suppressed or prevented. So that's about what we have the ST segment, where we have the plateau formation that is more or less horizontal in nature. Now the final step in ECG is the T wave. So it represents what is called actually ventricular repolarization. This is the only one which represents what is called ventricular repolarization. All others represent either atrial depolarization or ventricular depolarization. Now this is the one which represents what is called ventricular repolarization. Okay, so the duration of the T wave is normally longer than P wave. Then compared to what we have actually QRS complex, it is longer. That is actually longer than P wave. That's not QRS complex, longer than P wave. What is the reason for that one? The repolarization takes place normally simultaneously throughout the ventricular depolarization. So repolarization and ventricular depolarization occur simultaneously. That's why we see that one, that we have the T wave is longer than what is called P wave. The T wave is longer than P wave. The reason for that one, both depolarization and the repolarization occur simultaneously throughout the ventricles. So that's about what we have the ECG, the different stages. You see that one red line represents what's called the T wave. You have to represent the diagram starting from P wave, shifting it to this one, what is called P2, then QRS complex. I'm giving the color for that one. Then we have the ST segment red color. Now once again we have the T wave. That is what we have. It's passing through the repolarization process. So these are all the diagrams given in the book. There's normally 6 diagrams are given, but it's not necessary to represent all the diagrams actually during the 5 marks question. Suppose they're asking for example separately, right sharp course on P wave. You have to represent what's called actually the change with the different colors. QRS complex with the different colors. Okay, with the diagram only you have to represent the 6 diagrams, any one diagram related to what is a particular stage, TV, or we have what's called that is we have P2 interval, or we have QRS complex, ST segment, or we have the TV, etc. So I draw a diagram, just the whole one representing what we have, that is ECG. Now this is a common ECG showing what is called the PV, representing what is called atrial depolarization. Then we have the QRS complex, QRS. Now you see that one Q and S, these are all the negative waves present below. And the R, P and T, upward waves, they represent the positive waves. Now the QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization. And similarly, the T wave represents the ventricular repolarization. That's the only stage where we have the repolarization is visible. I mentioned already the atrial repolarization is not represented in the wave. The wave of what is known as atrial repolarization, because the depolarization and repolarization of the atria together occur simultaneously. Okay, that's about what we have the diagram. Suppose if they're asking ECG, you have to draw only one diagram. If a particular wave is asked, you have to represent that particular wave diagram, what I represented there, also there in the book, along with what we have. That is the nose. Okay, so with that I concluded about electrocardiogram. We have to go further, what is called the regulation of cardiac activity and some disorders related to the circulatory system. We'll see in the next video.